Imagine waking up tomorrow and knowing, really knowing, that the way you start your day has the power to rewrite the rest of your life. Most people drag themselves out of bed, scrolling through their phones or rushing into chaos, never realizing they've already lost control before the day even begins. But what if you could flip that script? The miracle morning is not just about waking up earlier, it's about waking up better, physically, mentally, and emotionally. It's a blueprint for transforming your mornings into a launch pad for success, happiness, and purpose. Today here on Shiny Books, we're diving deep into the exact steps that have helped millions worldwide break free from average and step into extraordinary. And by the time we're done, you'll never look at your alarm clock the same way again. You open your eyes and for a brief second, there's silence. No rush, no chaos, just possibility. But here's the truth. The way you choose to spend these first moments determines everything that follows. If you start your day feeling rushed, distracted, or drained, you've already surrendered your potential before the battle even began. That's the hidden power of mornings. They are the foundation of your life's results, whether you realize it or not. Think about it. Every successful person you admire, whether it's an entrepreneur, an athlete, or a creative genius, has one thing in common. They own their mornings. They understand that greatness isn't built in one giant leap. It's built in consistent, intentional steps taken every single day. And those steps begin before the rest of the world wakes up. But here's the problem. Most people live their lives in reaction mode. They wake up late, check their phones, read bad news, and let the day dictate their emotions and priorities. If you've been there, you know how it feels, like you're constantly chasing time instead of creating it. That's why the miracle morning is such a game changer. It's not just about getting up early, it's about choosing to wake up with purpose, clarity, and control. The author, Hal Elrod, didn't come up with this concept because life was easy. In fact, his life hit rock bottom, twice. First, after a near-fatal car accident that left him with severe injuries, and later, when financial disaster struck during the 2008 recession. Both times, he needed something more than motivation. He needed a system to rebuild himself from the inside out. And that's exactly what this morning method became. You might think, but I'm not a morning person. That's fine. The miracle morning isn't a rigid 5 a.m. boot camp. It's a flexible framework that can work for anyone, whether you start at sunrise or at 9 a.m. The point isn't the clock, it's the choice to begin your day intentionally instead of accidentally. Here's why mornings matter so much. When you wake up early, before the noise of the world begins, you enter a window of pure focus. No emails, no calls, no obligations. Just you and your mind, free from distractions. That's when you can feed your brain with inspiration, set your goals, and prepare your mindset to handle whatever the day throws your way. This is the time when you plant seeds for the life you want to live. And it doesn't take huge leaps to see change. Even 10 to 30 minutes of intentional activity each morning can compound into massive transformation over time. Imagine doing small, meaningful actions for your body, mind, and spirit every single day for the next year. Where would you be? Healthier? More confident? Closer to your goals? That's the promise of the miracle morning. The most important shift happens not in your schedule, but in your identity. When you wake up early for yourself, you send a powerful signal to your brain. I am in control. I value my growth. I am committed to becoming the best version of myself. This mindset ripples through the rest of your day, influencing the choices you make, the energy you carry, and the results you create. Let's be honest, life will always throw challenges your way. There will be days when motivation feels low, when your bed feels like the most comfortable place on earth, and when hitting snooze seems harmless. But every time you choose to rise instead of roll over, you strengthen your willpower. You prove to yourself that you can keep promises to yourself, and that self-trust becomes your greatest asset. Remember, this isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional. The miracle morning gives you a daily reset button, a chance to start fresh no matter what happened yesterday. Every morning becomes an opportunity to realign with your goals, fuel your energy, and design the day ahead instead of letting it design you. And as you practice this, you'll notice something incredible. Mornings stop feeling like a chore and start feeling like a gift. You'll wake up not because you have to, but because you want to. The stillness of those early hours becomes something you crave, because it's in that space you're building the life you've always imagined. That's the awakening we're talking about. The moment you realize that your potential isn't locked away in some distant future. It's in the decisions you make before the rest of the world even stirs. It's in choosing to rise, to prepare, and to claim your day as your own. So as we move forward, remember this. The miracle morning isn't about becoming a morning person. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't wait for life to happen, but but starts the day creating it. And once you truly own your mornings, you'll start owning your life. Once you've made the decision to wake up with intention, the next question is, what exactly do you do with that time? Because let's face it, waking up earlier only to wander aimlessly around your house, scrolling through your phone, or staring at the wall isn't going to transform your life. This is where the heart of the miracle morning comes in, the Life SAVRS framework. Think of it as your personal growth starter pack. 6 practices designed to sharpen your mind, strengthen your body, and elevate your spirit before the rest of the world even begins to stir. Each letter in SAVRS stands for one of these habits: silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing. They're simple, but don't let that fool you. When practiced daily, they can completely rewire how you think, feel, and act. We start with silence. In a world addicted to noise, starting your day in stillness is a radical act. No TV, no notifications, no mental clutter, just you, your breath, and a moment to connect with yourself. This could be meditation, deep breathing, or prayer, depending on your preference. Even a few minutes of intentional silence can lower stress, sharpen focus, and help you approach your day with calm instead of chaos. Then comes affirmations, and before you roll your eyes thinking of cheesy mantras, understand this: affirmations aren't about blindly telling yourself you're amazing. They're about consciously choosing the beliefs you want to program into your mind. Instead of letting self-doubt run your thoughts, you create statements that reflect your goals and values, then repeat them daily until they become part of your identity. You're not faking it, you're training your brain to see possibilities instead of limitations. After affirmations, we move to visualization. This is where you mentally rehearse the life you want and the steps you'll take to get there. You don't just see the end goal, you imagine yourself going through the process, feeling the challenges, overcoming them, and celebrating the wins. Your brain starts to treat these mental rehearsals as if they're real, making it easier to take action when the time comes. Next, exercise, because energy isn't something you just have, it's something you create. A quick workout in the morning wakes up your body, boosts your mood, and primes your mind for focus. You don't have to run a marathon. Even a short yoga flow, a brisk walk, or bodyweight exercises can flood your system with endorphins and get your blood pumping. The point is to signal to your body we're awake and we're ready. Then comes reading, fuel for your mind. This isn't about binging random articles or social media posts. It's about intentionally consuming knowledge that helps you grow. Just 10 to 20 minutes of reading each morning adds up fast. Imagine the wisdom you'd absorb if you read 20 books a year simply by making it part of your morning. Finally, scribing, which is just a fancy word for journaling. Writing forces you to slow down and process your thoughts. You can jot down your goals, reflect on what you're grateful for, or brainstorm solutions to challenges. The act of putting pen to paper clears mental clutter and strengthens your sense of purpose. Now here's the beauty of SAVRS. You can tailor it to your lifestyle. You could spend 10 minutes on each activity, making it a full hour, or you could condense them into a quick 6-minute version. 1 minute for each habit, if you're short on time. There's no rigid rulebook. The power lies in consistency, not perfection. The magic isn't in doing these things once. It's in doing them every day until they become as natural as brushing your teeth. Because these 6 habits aren't just morning activities, they're tools for transformation. They help you show up every day with clarity, confidence, and energy. And something interesting happens once you start practicing SAVRS. You begin to notice that your mornings aren't the only things changing. You carry the effects into the rest of your day. You make better decisions, you stay calmer under pressure, and you feel more in control. It's like you've upgraded your operating system. Remember, your mornings are the seed, but your days are the harvest. And when you consistently plant the right seeds, silence, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, scribing, you start to see the kind of life you've been dreaming about take shape, one sunrise at a time. It's not magic, it's habit. But to unlock its power, you have to master one more thing: actually getting out of bed when the alarm goes off. And that, my friend, is where most people stumble. You know that moment when your alarm goes off, and you're caught in a silent negotiation with yourself? Just 5 more minutes. But 5 minutes somehow becomes 30, and before you know it, your carefully planned morning has evaporated. That's the war zone of the snooze button, a deceptively small habit with a massive impact. Here's the truth: when you hit snooze, you're not just delaying your morning, you're sending yourself a subtle message that your commitments don't matter. You're starting the day by breaking a promise to yourself. And that mental signal carries over into everything else you do. The more you allow yourself to delay, the more you normalize putting off what's important. Hal Elrod understood this all too well. When he first started creating the miracle morning, he realized the snooze button was his biggest enemy. If he couldn't win the battle in those first 10 seconds, the rest of his morning routine never stood a chance. That's why he developed what he calls the 5-step snooze-proof wake-up strategy. Step 1. Set your intentions before bed. The mindset you fall asleep with is the one you wake up with. If you go to bed thinking, "Ugh, I'm going to be so tired tomorrow," guess what? You'll wake up tired. Instead, program your mind with an intentional thought like, "Tomorrow is my chance to become better than I was today." It's not just positive thinking, it's priming your brain to expect energy. Step 2. Move your alarm clock across the room. If your alarm is within arm's reach, you've made snoozing effortless. By placing it far enough that you have to physically get up to turn it off, you've already broken the inertia of sleep. Standing up is half the battle won. Step 3. Brush your teeth immediately. This isn't about dental hygiene, though that's a nice bonus. The goal is to signal to your body that sleep time is over. The cool splash of water and minty freshness are sensory cues that wake up your brain. Step 4. Drink a full glass of water. After 6 to 8 hours without hydration, your body is naturally dehydrated, which amplifies feelings of fatigue. Rehydrating first thing sends oxygen and nutrients rushing through your system, making you feel more alert. Step 5. Dress for success. Even if you're not leaving the house, changing out of your sleepwear tricks your mind into shifting gears from rest mode to active mode. This small physical change has a surprisingly big mental effect. When you combine these 5 steps, something shifts. You no longer wake up reactively, you wake up decisively. And here's a key principle to remember. Motivation doesn't wake you up, action does. The very act of getting out of bed and moving around creates the energy you thought you needed in order to get started. If you've ever told yourself you're just not a morning person, you might be operating under a self-fulfilling prophecy. Your identity around mornings is shaped by years of habit, not by some unchangeable truth. When you master these wake-up steps, you begin to rewrite that identity. And yes, there will still be days when your bed feels magnetic, when the warmth of the blanket whispers for you to stay. On those days, remember this: your bed will always be there. But the chance to make progress toward your goals today? That's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Tomorrow, it'll be a different day, a different you, and the opportunity will have passed. There's a quiet kind of pride that comes from winning the first battle of the day. Once you've proven to yourself that you can rise when you said you would, everything else feels more doable. You've already built momentum before breakfast. The snooze button may seem small, but mastering it is symbolic. It's proof that you control your choices, not your impulses. And when you consistently start your mornings with that kind of victory, the rest of your day begins to follow suit. Now that you're up and moving, the question becomes, how do you make sure the time you fought for is used in a way that energizes and inspires you? That's where designing your perfect morning routine comes in. Now that you've conquered the snooze button and claimed your first victory of the day, it's time to design the routine that will carry you from awake to unstoppable. The beauty of the miracle morning is that it's not a one-size-fits-all blueprint. It's a flexible framework that you can shape to fit your lifestyle, your goals, and your personality. This is where a lot of people trip up. They hear about someone's elaborate 2-hour routine filled with cold showers, marathon runs, and gourmet breakfasts and think, "I could never keep that up." But here's the truth. Your perfect morning isn't about copying someone else's. It's about creating a ritual that energizes you. Start by figuring out your why. Why do you want to wake up earlier? Is it to build your dream business? Improve your health? Read more? Strengthen your mindset? Your routine should directly connect to that purpose. If you don't have a clear reason, your motivation will fade fast. Once you've got your why, it's time to structure your time. The SAVRS framework you learned earlier is the backbone, but you can play with the order, length, and style of each practice. Some people love to exercise first to wake up their bodies. Others prefer to meditate before moving a muscle. Experiment and see what makes you feel most alive. Tip number 1. Start small, grow big. If you're new to intentional mornings, jumping straight into a 60-minute routine might feel overwhelming. Instead, start with a condensed version, maybe just 6 to 10 minutes, then gradually expand as the habit sticks. Remember, consistency beats intensity in the long run. Tip number 2. Protect your time. Once you carve out your miracle morning, guard it like treasure. Don't check email just for a minute. Don't let late-night Netflix steal your sleep, and don't schedule early commitments that eat into your personal time. Treat your morning like an important meeting with yourself, because it is. Tip number 3. Set the stage the night before. Mornings start in the evening. Lay out your workout clothes, prepare your journal, set your book on the table, and have your water ready. Removing friction makes it far easier to start without hesitation. Your environment plays a big role too. Create a space that feels inviting. Maybe it's a cozy corner with good lighting, or a clear desk with your favorite pen and notebook. The goal is to have a spot where your brain says, "This is where we grow." And here's something you might not expect. Your morning routine will evolve over time. As your goals shift, your life circumstances change, and you discover new tools or passions, your ritual will naturally adapt. That's not failure, that's growth. The miracle morning is a living process, not a rigid checklist. But no matter how you customize it, there are a few universal truths. It should leave you feeling more energized than when you woke up. It should feed your mind, body, and spirit in some way. It should align with the person you're becoming, not just the person you are right now. Think of it like this. Your morning is your launch pad and the rest of your day is the rocket. If your launch pad is solid, built with intention, focus, and self-care, your rocket can soar. But if it's unstable, you'll spend the rest of the day trying to fix a shaky takeoff. Designing your perfect morning routine is about more than productivity, it's about identity. Every time you follow through, you're casting a vote for the kind of person you want to be. The more votes you cast, the more solid that identity becomes. And the best part? You don't need to get it perfect right away. You just need to start. Because once your mornings feel like something you look forward to rather than dread, you'll notice a ripple effect. Your afternoons will be more focused, your evenings more relaxed, and your overall sense of control will grow. Still, there's one final step, perhaps the most important of all, making sure this isn't just another short-lived experiment, but a lifelong habit that keeps giving back year after year. And that's where we bring it all together. By now, you understand the why, the what, and the how of the miracle morning. But here's the real challenge, keeping it alive beyond the initial burst of excitement. Because let's be honest, starting something new is easy. Sticking with it when life gets messy, when you're tired, or when your motivation fades, that's the real test. The truth is, consistency isn't built on motivation alone. Motivation is like a spark. It gets the fire going, but it burns out quickly. What keeps the fire alive is commitment. And commitment isn't about being perfect every day. It's about showing up more often than not, even when you don't feel like it. One of the best ways to make your miracle morning stick is to anchor it to your identity. Instead of saying, "I'm trying to wake up early," you say, "I'm the kind of person who values my mornings." When it becomes part of who you are, it stops being a decision you debate every day, it just becomes what you do. Another powerful tool? Track your progress. Keep a simple habit tracker, journal your mornings, or use an app to check off each part of your routine. The act of seeing your streak grow builds momentum, and you'll start to feel a sense of pride in protecting that chain of wins. But what happens when you slip up? Because you will. Maybe you oversleep, skip a practice, or have a week where you barely hold it together. That's not failure, it's feedback. Instead of throwing in the towel, ask yourself, what made it hard? Maybe you stayed up too late. Maybe you didn't prepare your space the night before. Maybe stress drained your energy. Once you know the cause, you can adjust. Hal Elrod suggests embracing the never miss twice rule. If you miss one day, fine, life happens. But make sure you get back on track the next day. This prevents one slip from turning into a spiral. Also, remember that seasons of life will shift your routine. There will be times when your miracle morning is a full hour of SAVRS, and times when it's 6 condensed minutes before rushing to work. The length isn't the point, the act of intentionally starting your day is. Another tip for staying consistent: connect your mornings to your bigger vision. If you see your routine as just another task, it'll be easy to skip. But if you view it as the foundation for building your dream life, it becomes non-negotiable. When you open your journal, you're not just writing, you're shaping the mindset that will help you land that promotion. When you exercise, you're not just moving, you're building the energy to play with your kids after work. Over time, something magical happens. You stop thinking of your miracle morning as a routine and start seeing it as a ritual, a sacred time that belongs entirely to you. It's the quiet anchor that keeps you grounded when life gets loud. And here's the real reward. The changes you make in the morning don't stay in the morning. They ripple out into every part of your life. Your relationships get stronger because you're more present. Your work improves because you're more focused. Your health gets better because you're more energized. This is how extraordinary lives are built, not in huge dramatic events, but in small, intentional acts repeated over time. Your miracle morning is simply the best way to stack those acts together at the start of every day. So, as you move forward, remember this. You're not just creating a morning routine, you're creating a life. And every time that alarm goes off, you have a choice. Hit snooze and stay the same, or rise up and keep becoming the person you're meant to be. And here on Shiny Books, we believe in you. Not because it's easy, but because we've seen what happens when people commit to showing up for themselves, one morning at a time. Now, the only question left is, will tomorrow be the day you start yours? If you've made it this far, you already know the power that's waiting for you tomorrow morning. The question isn't whether the miracle morning works, it's whether you're willing to give yourself the gift of trying it. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. You just have to set your alarm a little earlier, commit to a few minutes of intentional action, and repeat it until it becomes as natural as breathing. Here's your challenge from Shiny Books. Pick a time for tomorrow, set your alarm, and prepare your space tonight. Lay out your clothes, set up your journal, fill your water glass. Make it impossible to fail. Then, when the alarm rings, win the first battle of the day by getting up and stepping into your miracle morning. And if you found value in this deep dive, help us inspire more people to change their mornings and their lives. Hit like, leave a comment sharing when you'll start your miracle morning, and don't forget to subscribe to Shiny Books for more powerful book summaries that turn knowledge into action. Your extraordinary life starts in the morning. Tomorrow, make sure you rise to meet it.